There's going to be parts of this that I am going to be just sort of staring off into space, looking at my notes. So if you see pieces, I always say that I'm not going to edit. I'll probably edit pieces of this so it's not just like 15 seconds of me going, what am I not saying? So if you see like editing snips or clips put together, it's just me taking out dead space. We are doing it. 2-part video. I think it's the first 2-part video. So we're going to be doing, it's kind of a number of things. It's going to be going over kind of mostly the way I view the whole HPA, BB madness. They're going to jail. They're going to get kicked out of the blah, 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 whatever. So kind of my take on that as how I see the same information that other players see it, or as that other players see pretty much everything, YouTube videos and hilarious Facebook posts and all that. The first part, which is this video that we are going to go over, is kind of a generic thing on how business works that kind of also relates to what's going on now. The second part will be more specific about Airsoftology's video, his second part video that he did. I don't care about the first part. That was more about like plastics and stuff. The second video is when he started name dropping companies and was like, hey, I have this information. I can put names to information now. So my thoughts on that, as well as the lesser known yet much better ASAP, another serious Airsoft podcast episode where they actually had Hippo, now it's Hippo Cigar Bar, and Dan, the owner of HPA, on there talking about it and being way more specific. So here we go. So the first part, and apparently there's a guy doing construction across the street. I really hope you can't hear that. I hope you can hear that. There's really one universal product in Airsoft, and it's BBs. Every gun has to have BBs. It doesn't matter if you're shooting a spring, an AEG, a shotgun, none of that matters. You have to put BBs in the dang thing to have the fun. You put the BBs in the gun, you shoot the kid in the face, he goes, ah! There is substantial profit to be made from a field owner's perspective in selling BBs, especially if you can control the kinds of BBs that are allowed to your field and stuff like that. If you sell them, things like that, there's a pretty decent profit to be made there, because the wholesale, depending on the brand, you can get BBs anywhere between 18 to 30% off, depending on the brand you use. That's a pretty big markup that a field can have, is to buy a product at a price and then be able to resell that product for up around 20 to 25% at retail for a profit. And everyone's going to need those BBs. Yeah, it might not seem like a lot, but it's a lot of little hits. It's 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. I'm saying usually most fields sell them for around 20, 25 a bag. So there's a lot of money to be made in BBs, but it's not a sexy product. It's not as cool looking as like say a Ronin or a new Glock or a new gun. It doesn't look as cool. It's just a bag full of rabbit food. Doesn't look that cool. It just looks like a bunch of dot ice cream. Now I want Dippin' Dots. I'm going to go to ice cream after this. Now let's consider this. Most field owners or managers will generally do what they feel is necessary to generate the most profits they can reasonably make without doing something like legit crazy unethical or illegal or something like that. A business owner is going to do whatever it takes to generate income. And if they piss someone off in the process, then who cares? As long as they're not going to get sued or arrested, it's business, folks. The name of the game is to make money. You make money so you can stay in business and keep generating enough profits to pay your overhead for your business and pay your rent and all your personal bills, so you don't have to go work for some other schmuck that has no idea what they're doing. It's great. Let me get this closer. Hey. From what I have seen, from what I've been told, from interactions, from things I read, things I see, from all the different ways I can interact or see an interaction, it seems like most airsoft field owners, generally don't have a specific background in business or in science. Usually they're paintballers, or they did something in the professional world, like maybe they were cops or something, or they did something in the gun world, and then they're like, I'm just going to watch kids shoot each other in the face so I don't have to have a real job anymore, which is the way to go. Airsoft field owners, in whole, they're not going to have a huge business background to the point where they're going to be offered a teaching position at a college somewhere. Like, you're not going to see an airsoft field owner usually with a PhD in international relations or a master's degree in business administration or something along those lines. Also, just because they have a business degree doesn't really mean anything. There are plenty of dudes right now with 2 and 4 year business degrees selling TVs at Best Buy. There's really 2 major things you're going to need to create a physical product. Now what subcategories of this might fall, but 2 main things you're going to need. You're going to need raw materials, and you're going to need a way to turn those raw materials into the product. Usually it's the manufacturer or the developer or something like that. But you need stuff, and then you need a way to make stuff into a thing. Say I'm a business and I sell sunglasses that I've designed and patented, meaning no one in the US can remake or sell my sunglasses without my permission, which usually means an exchange of money for my permission, or a licensing thing, or a subsidiary or franchise, something like that. But if I make a product and I have it patented and I say, hey, this is mine, no one can make it, you, the guy in the other state or wherever, can't make that same product. A patent it's federal law. A lot of business laws, when we're talking about patents and copyrights and intellectual properties and stuff like that, that is usually a federal guideline. Meaning, if I make a specific kind of unique sunglasses and I patent it or I trademark it or whatever, and I'm in California, a guy in Texas can't look at it and go, oh, he makes those in California, I'm going to make these here in Texas. Well, no, that's not how that works. We're in the same country. Under federal guidelines, you can't do that without my permission, and my permission is not free. Does that make sense? Although I've designed the sunglasses, I use a Chinese company that makes the sunglasses because they want to charge me $1 per pair, and it's better than going with some US-based company that wants to charge me $6 per pair because I sell my sunglasses retail for $10 to $15. So if I go with the Chinese manufacturer, I can make more profit because I have less overhead because my production cost is low. But I'm using an overseas company. We'll talk about why that's important. Here's the problem. Let's say that Chinese company also makes sunglasses for a German company. That Chinese company says, hey, Germans, this American over here is ordering thousands of these sunglasses, so he's probably doing pretty good, right? How about we start making his sunglasses for you guys for 80 cents a pair, or whatever currency that they agree on. Let's use American currency. Let's say they say, hey, German sunglass company, we, the Chinese manufacturer, will sell you this design and produce these sunglasses for you for 80 cents. German company goes, that sounds good. Is that German? That doesn't sound German. Is it? Am I the Swedish chef? The German company says, yeah, that sounds great. We're going to resell these for 8 stones or rubles or Deutschmarks or goats. I don't know what they're using over there for currency in not America. There's nothing the American company, can do because I cannot, as an American entity, what am I going to take a Chinese company to court? How's that going to work? Like, hey, this guy in the States summoned us to an American court. No, we're not. We're Chinese. We're not going to. No, we're not doing that. That's not how that works. I bring this up because this actually happened to a friend of mine who deals in European auto parts. He's a reseller for auto parts, but he also makes some of his own design and some of his unique parts for certain builds of cars and stuff like that. So he would create the design. He would make the 3D design and the dimensions and specs and all that, and he would send that design to a Chinese-based manufacturer who would then produce the product he designed. Well, what was happening was that Chinese company would then turn around and sell that same product to other companies in other countries that he was directly competing with. But because they were not American-based companies, he had to sit there and take it. So going forward, now he's a lot more selective with what products he will send to that company to make. Welcome to international business, kids. Now let's consider this. Let's say I make Caber Pop. It's a soda pop. Yay, soda. It's all bubbly and delicious. Very popular soda. I buy my raw materials from, let's just say, a farmer. So I buy my raw materials from a farmer for the sake of this discussion. But the syrup, that soda syrup, before it how soda comes in that syrup, they mix it with water and stuff. Let's say I take the raw materials from the farmer and I make that syrup in-house. I control that. I know how much of what ingredients, I know how to cook it, the whole thing. That is, we'll say that's a trade. That is a legal trade secret. A trade secret, by the way, is a legal terminology. It's not just like, hey, don't tell anyone this. Okay, I totally won't tell anyone that. No, that's a legal trade secret. And then I send that syrup off to let's say a Chinese manufacturer, and they add carbonated water, they bottle it, they throw the little wrapper on there, send it back to me, and then I sell the product, the final product. So that's cool. Let's say I do that. Let's also say I have three major competitors. Let's say those competitors in the soda world are Petty, Cope, and Spite. Like where we're going with this. All those are three different companies, three different independent companies. But those three companies, while they sell a different soda with a different label on it, they use the same ingredients. They have the same bottler, the same everything. The only thing that separates Petty from Cope from Spite is maybe whatever flavor they may or may not decide to make. Let's say, for whatever reason, Petty decided, they don't want to go with grape. Cope goes with grape, but they don't want cherry. So Petty goes with grape. Neither one of them want to mess with citrus or lemon lime. So that's what Spite does, is they do lemon lime. Cool. But they all those sodas come from the same manufacturer overseas. They bottle it, they make it, they do the whole thing. They go, hey, make all these sodas for us. And the Chinese go, okay, we'll do that. Here you go. And they sell them for 3 times the price, or whatever the markup would be on that. Let's also say that Caber Pop is outselling all three of those companies. Now, all three of my competitors also make T-shirts. They make sports apparel. They sponsor sporting events. They have prominent celebrity spokespeople and figures and commercials and all that. All Caber Pop makes is one kind of soda, and that's it. We don't really mess with T-shirts. We have like a diet and a cola, I guess. We don't really mess with a lot of merchandise. We have one kind of shirt if you want, just because apparently people like that. But our Caber Pop Cola, soda to soda, pound for pound, ounce for ounce, is outselling all three of my competitor sodas. So yeah, they're making more money overall because they sell more product. They have more products that they sell, so they have additional streams of revenue. But for a soda, I'm crushing them. It's not even close. I am leaps and bounds ahead of my competition with my one product that I specialize in. And the reason I specialize in it is because that's all I do. I don't make soda and chips. I don't make soda and sneakers. I don't make soda and sweaters. I make soda. Sit. Saw. That's all there is. Hashtag Caber Pop. Let's say those three companies say that I have dirt in my soda, and that dirt is harmful to consumers, and for whatever reason, for sake of argument. And let's say they make social media posts that, we're not saying that this guy has anything, but our soda doesn't have dirt in it. And I don't know about any other kinds of pops, but our soda doesn't have dirt, but some pops might have dirt. See now how we're getting into wordplay? Because it's called Caber Pop. So they're saying now their soda is good, but other pops are not. So there's a wordplay going on here. It's fun with words. Yay, language. let's say my 3 competitors, they do all these social media things and they're using kind of an ambiguous language. They're refusing to be very specific on how they know this information or what kind of dirt is, but they're just going, hey, his thing is bad. Hey, they're bad. We're the best. The end of statement. That's it. What? Now let's say in those comments, we see 2 sides. We either see people going, yeah, that's right. That stuff is dirt. You guys are the best. And then those, they're getting their statuses liked and reposting and blah, blah, blah. And then there's a small niche community of consumers that are going, well, how do you guys know that? Like, I would like more specific information. Blocked. That's silly, right? Now let's say there is this push. My 3 competitors now release their ingredients, their formulas, everything that goes into making that soda, they release. Well, the reason they release that is because it's the same thing. It's made by the same people with the same ingredients. The only thing they do is just bottle it differently and put a different package on it. The reason that those 3 companies release that information, in my argument, in my hypothetical scenario, is because there is no secret. All 3 of those companies know they're using the same guy to make their stuff. They don't care. There's nothing necessarily unique about one or the others. Maybe a couple of them choose to go with some flavor routes and some stuff that others don't want to do. But as far as like the ingredients and how it's made, it's the same stuff. The same stuff. So of course they're going to release that information. They don't stand to lose anything. Now they want to come after me and say, hey, Caber Pop needs to start releasing their information too. Whoa. No. I'm not going to do that because the way I make my soda is significantly different than the way they make their soda. But they're not going to tell you that information. I'll tell you that information because I know as a guy in the industry, that's what's going on. Look at their lab desk and go, like, here, look, even in their lab reports, even you look at their vendors, you look at the labs, they're using the same stuff. It's the same ingredients. It's the same process. The same people is making the same thing. Why are you guys coming after me? Well, because you're different, and they said you're different. They said you're bad, and you got dirt in there because they said it on the Instagram that you got dirt in your soda. So someone told you something on social media, and you just believed it? Yeah, Earth is flat, too. Now, it could be, let's also caveat this. Let's say Petty, soda company Petty, releases their information because they're coming after me because Petty wants my soda. They want my information. They want to find a way to steal my secrets and use them for their profit and gain because the purpose of a business is to make money. And they know that once they get my secrets, all they got to do is just mess with it overseas. And as long as it's not like a big even if they can't use it for their gain, they can use it to tear my company down and go, oh, here's all of his secrets. Good luck, the entire world. Then people start making their own products and doing their own thing, and I got to start suing people, and I got to just start doing all this stuff that takes away from me making a quality soda pop. Hashtag Caber Pop. So Petty's going after me. Let's say that Cope sees the Instagram from Petty and goes, oh, look at that. Petty released their ingredient information. Hey, boss. Petty just released their ingredients information. Do we want to do that? Everyone online is asking us to do this thing. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sure, who cares? We have like a million other things to do. Just post that stupid stuff on the internet and make those nerds happy. Okay, I'll just post it. Boop. There's our stuff on the internet. And now Spite looks at those two and goes, hey, boss, hey, Petty and Cope just released their ingredient information and a bunch of like really specific chemical information about the product. And there's people on Instagram in the comments asking us to do the same thing. Should we do this, or what do we do? Yeah, who cares? We have a meeting with the NBA soon, so what do we get? Go ahead. Just post the information. Look, it's the same stuff anyway. What do we care? We got stuff to, I got meetings to go to. I got new products coming out. Post that stupid information and let's get on with our lives. That could be it also. Could be just a lot of companies see something online and go, oh, that's a trend now. Okay, boop, follow the trend, whatever. This guy's doing this thing. It got popular, so now we got to do the thing. Otherwise, we're a bad company, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Maybe it's just one company went completely off the rails for malicious reasons, and other two companies were just like, oh, they're doing that? I guess we got to do that because people on Instagram are stupid. Let's now say that Tom's Soda Bar serves my soda and my competitors. Tom just likes selling soda. But now Tom demands to see everything that goes into my soda and refuses to sell Caber Pop until I show my ingredients, my raw materials, until I give my lawful trade secrets out freely into the public and into the open. Tom's Soda Bar refuses to sell my products until I release this information, so they just stop selling my stuff. Okay, that's weird, but all right. They think that I have dirt in it. Okay, cool. Hey, Tom's Soda Bar, if you sign this information or this NDA that looks like a birthday card that my daughter made for me, isn't it cute? You sign this NDA, this non-disclosure agreement that says I will share literally everything about my company, or anything that you want to ask me, I will tell you. But according to this NDA, you cannot release that information or use it or do anything with it except keep it to yourself. It's a lawful pinky promise. It's basically what an NDA is. It's a lawful pinky promise. Only if you break it, you get sued and live under a bridge. Hey, Tom Soda Bar, you sign that NDA, I'll share anything with you so you know that you are selling a product that is safe for your consumers, and your consumers are going to trust you, Tom, to go, hey, these guys were saying this thing about Caber Soda Pop. I signed the NDA. He released all the information to me. Guys, it's good. I can't go over the specifics with you because of a lawful agreement he and I have because for contractual issues, but I'm telling you, as a seller of Caber Pop is safe for consumption and there is no dirt in that product. Why wouldn't you do that? Unless you had other alternative motives. Now let's further say this, adding to the hypothetical situation. Let's say that Petty, or let's say it was rumored, let's say there are accusations, a little bird came in, because apparently the bird is a Jetsons car. Let's say a little bird comes in the windowsill and says, tweet, Tom Soda Bar is totally doing way more business with Petty Soda Company. Tweet. So now I find out through whatever grapevine that Tom Soda Bar is in bed in some sort of business term with Petty Soda Company. So I can then infer that the reason that you are making these accusations and the reason that you are making these claims that I have an inferior product, or that my product isn't what I claim it is to be, and that the reason you stopped selling my product but continue to sell my competitors is that you want my information so you can either use it for your gain or potentially leak that information to my competitor, because you were offered multiple times to sign an NDA, which is a legal agreement that will answer all your questions, but you cannot legally share those answers with anyone. That is what an NDA states. But you didn't want to do that, did you? Because all you know is selling soda. Because you're not smart enough to know how to do anything else. Because you're a greedy little pig. Meanwhile, my competition is still making, let's say Petty Soda. Let's say the other, like Coke could care less. They got a good thing going with the NFL. Spite doesn't really care. They're doing some stuff with esports. But for whatever reason, Petty is just hardline on this issue. Because Petty makes one decent soda, but it's popular with kids, so maybe the top breaks off sometimes. Maybe it fails to open sometimes. Maybe sometimes you open it, there's not even soda in there. It's just air. But Petty makes one decent soda, and that's it. Their merchandise isn't selling very well. No one really cares a whole lot about their brand or product as a whole, and just historically, they haven't been making the best stuff. So they have to focus on something. They need something to generate interest in their product, and hopefully they can get my secrets and either put me, their competitor, out of business, which could increase their sales, or use my trade secrets to increase their sales directly. Either way, my loss is my competitor's gain. That's business, kids. Tom Soda Bar is making all these accusations with a very generic, ambiguous language, which is weird because the guys running those social media accounts are part-time sales associates. They're not soda geeks. They're not chemists. They're not cooks. They don't have any specialty knowledge in the business world. They're not lawyers. They're just dorks. That's it. They're just dorks. Dorks with a platform and a basic concept of English business language. Either intentionally or unintentionally, they're making all these ambiguous claims and using that ambiguity to bolster up their own brand because they know that their audience is too stupid to actually know the specifics about what they're talking about. They know their audience doesn't care about lab results or this, that, and the other. They know that their audience doesn't have a chemical background because all the guys in the audience that have a chemical background, they blocked from commenting. Right? Yeah, this is getting real fun, huh? This is entertaining. Keep in mind that all answers can be revealed. The light at the end of the tunnel is dependent upon you holding a pen and signing a thing called an NDA. Then all your questions get answered. All of them. Literally any question you have about Caber Pop will be answered as soon as you sign that NDA. That looks like a birthday card my daughter made for me. But, again, you haven't signed the NDA. You've actually refused to sign my NDA because you're not interested in anything other than shutting me down and building yourself up. That's what you're really interested in, isn't it, Petty Soda Company? Isn't it? Come on. Tell me. Just say it. Just say it, you dirty little girl. You just want the monies. Ooh. Right? Because you know how shady overseas distributors are. So if you find out that my raw materials guy is a nice little gentleman in some other country that isn't that's overseas, and that my manufacturer is another really nice company overseas, you're going to start going after them. You're either going to try and buy my products through them, and then somehow use that against me, or you're just generally going to maybe you want to buy them out and shut them down. Maybe you're going to give that nice farmer so much money, go, here's all the money you need to live comfortably for the rest of your life. He goes, oh, this is great. I never have to make any raw materials for soda companies again. Yay, I can retire happy. Boom, that farmer's now out of business. I can't get my raw materials. I'm out of business. Or I have to make a drastic change to my product, which is not something you want to do in the business world after you have an established product. You don't want to do that. Look at the recipe for Butterfinger after it changed. That thing tastes terrible. Terrible. You ever had a real sugar Pepsi and a regular Pepsi? The real sugar one is killing it. I don't care if it gives me diabetes. I'll sacrifice my foot for a soda with a taco. That's how I roll. But again, because the average person that drinks soda doesn't understand international business, doesn't understand chemistry. All they know, because the kids that drink soda are barely out of college. Most of them aren't even out of high school. They're just teenagers. Some of them can't even drive. But they know what they see on Instagram. And they assume, because my competitors are large businesses with a large following in the greater scheme of the world, they assume that company would never do anything. What? Petty did something unethical? It's hard for them to process that. It's hard for them to conceptualize that a major corporation that they have a personal connection to could be doing something unethical. It's very hard for them to process that because those kids don't understand how business works, how profit works, and how international business works when you're using overseas contractors, overseas distributors, manufacturers, when you're going overseas for something that you plan on selling in the States. There's a lot that goes into that. Like how much my beard itches. The truth is what IG says it is until it actually comes out in this thing called a court. I don't know if you've heard of this whole judicial process, just like legal processes, where a guy in a robe and a hammer says, hey, you got to do this or you're going to go to jail. And the person goes, oh, I made a lot of mistakes. I shouldn't have done those things that led up to this point that I'm currently in. So until the courts get involved, which is going to be fun, and I already know who I'm putting my money on. I know that if I take Petty to court over what they're doing for my soda, over these slanderous and libel things they're saying online, defamation of my personal character, I know that if I go in front of a judge, if I go in the real world, if I take this fight outside of Instagram into the courts, I'm going to win. I'm betting on me. I'm a bet on Caber Pop because I know, because I pay my rent. I feed my daughter on Caber Pop. I pay my truck payment, which I don't have anymore. I feed my kids. I pay my house bills. I keep the lights on. I keep my daughter warm in her bed on Caber Pop. That's all I do. I don't own Caber Pop, and then I'm also like an IT guy. I don't sell Caber Pop, but then I also am a mechanic over here. Caber Pop is my ride or die for my income. If Caber Pop fails, I live under a bridge. So why would I have a product that I know is going to be harmful? Why would I have a product that does what I don't say it does? Because I know that if that product fails or falters, I go hungry. My kid goes hungry. That goes against everything that a man sets himself up for. Let's look at the Petty Soda Company. Petty Soda is way bigger than me. They have a way bigger budget. They sell way more products. So let's say I take them to court and I sue them and I do cease and desist and all these things. Let's say I make $200,000 out of the court case. Petty can make that up. It's a big company. What do they care? It could, depending on how much they could lose in a court case, it could be worth rolling the dice. Maybe, maybe not. It's just soda though, right? It's not. But my competitors are banking on that this won't go to court because it's not a major industry. It's a localized problem in a very niche market that society as a whole either doesn't know exists or doesn't care about. And you could sit back and say, oh, it's just soda. It is. The product is just soda. But really what we're talking about is money and potentially putting someone out of business.